You know, when you hear the word fasting, what comes to mind? Probably hunger, thirst, maybe watching the clock, right? But what if that's just scratching the surface? What if this ancient practice holds some incredible secrets for our body, our mind, and yeah, even our soul? Well, today, let's peel back those layers and explore the hidden dimensions of fasting.
So this is really the big question we're diving into. Because if all we get out of fasting is a rumbling stomach, then we might be missing the entire point. It's not just about what you stop eating or drinking, it's about what you start becoming.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to go way beyond just hunger. Then, we'll dive into the 3 spiritual levels of fasting, connect that ancient wisdom to some cutting-edge science, see how it forges mental strength, look at how history's giants used it, and finally, uncover its ultimate divine reward. It's going to be quite a journey.
Okay, let's get into it. To help us understand this, we're going to turn to a brilliant 11th century scholar, Imam Ghazali. Now, he didn't see fasting as just one flat thing. Nope. For him, it was like a spiritual ladder with 3 distinct rungs, and each one takes you higher and deeper.
So let's climb this ladder. Step 1 is the common fast. This is the one we all know. No food, no drink, no physical intimacy. You're fulfilling the basic rules. But then you go deeper. Step 2 is the special fast. This is where you fast with your senses, your eyes, your ears, your tongue. You guard them from any kind of wrongdoing. And then at the very top, you have the elite fast. This is the fast of the heart itself, where you clean out any thought, any worry, anything at all that's not about God. It's a total reboot inside and out.
Now, this is where things get absolutely fascinating. This ancient idea of spiritual purification, it actually has a stunning parallel in modern science. It turns out that while you're busy cleansing your soul, your body is launching its own incredibly deep cleanse.
The scientific name for this is autophagy. It literally means self-eating. And it's exactly what it sounds like. When you fast, your body's healthy cells basically go on a search and destroy mission. They hunt down and eat up all the junk, the damaged cells, the toxic proteins, all the stuff that shouldn't be there. It's your body's built-in deep cleaning recycling system.
And look, this isn't some wellness trend or a fringe theory. The scientist who mapped out how autophagy works, Yoshinori Ohsumi, won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for it back in 2016. This is legit, cutting-edge science confirming the incredible wisdom of this ancient practice.
So here is the mind-blowing connection. For centuries, mystics and scholars have talked about tazkiyah, the spiritual detox, purifying the soul from greed, anger, and all those negative traits. And now, science shows us autophagy, the cellular detox, purifying the body from damaged cells and toxins. Do you see it? One is for the soul, the other is for the body. It's the exact same principle of cleansing, just happening on 2 different dimensions of who we are.
Okay, so we've got the body and the soul covered. But fasting is also a powerful gym for your mind. Seriously, it's a training ground for building the kind of mental and emotional muscle that can literally change your life. Let's look at how.
I mean, think about it for a second. When you can consciously say no to something as basic as a glass of water, you are building some serious willpower. You're teaching your brain about delayed gratification, the skill of passing on a small immediate reward for a much bigger one later. Psychologists say that's a huge key to success. Plus, it acts like a dopamine detox. It resets our brain's reward system, helping us break free from all those modern addictions, whether it's to junk food or just mindlessly scrolling on our phones.
And the value they placed on this struggle, it's just on another level. Check out this quote from an early scholar, Imam Muhammad ibn al-Munkadir. He said that at the end of life, the memory of the thirst from fasting would be more beloved to him than anything he ever owned. Wow, that's how profound the psychological impact is. It reframes what's truly valuable.
Okay, so this leads us to a big misconception. The idea that fasting makes you weak and useless. But if you look at history, you find the exact opposite is true. Time and time again, fasting wasn't a weakness. It was a source of unbelievable strength that fueled some of history's biggest moments.
I mean, this practice is ancient. We see with Adam, Moses, and Jesus all fasting for spiritual connection. But look at this. The Muslim soldiers at the Battle of Badr, they were fasting in the desert heat during a battle that would change history. The army that began the conquest of Spain, fasting. And it wasn't just for battle. The legendary scholar Imam Nawawi used to teach 12 different classes a day while fasting. He believed it quieted his body so he could sharpen his mind. For them, fasting wasn't a handicap, it was a superpower.
And they didn't just tolerate it, they actively loved the challenge.
This quote from Abu Darda, one of the Prophet Muhammad's companions, is just amazing. He says, one of the only things he loves about this world is fasting on long, hot summer days. They ran towards the difficulty because they knew that's where the real growth was.
So if fasting cleanses the body, builds the mind, and fuels history, what's the end game? What is the ultimate secret that lies at the very heart of this practice? Well, the answer points to something incredibly personal and truly transcendent. So in Islamic tradition, one of God's attributes is as-samad. It means the self-sufficient, the one who is totally and completely free from any need. No need for food, drink, sleep, anything. Now, when a human being fasts, we willingly give up our most basic physical needs. And in that moment, for that short time, we get to reflect a tiny, tiny spark of that divine quality of being beyond need. And this all leads to one of the most powerful statements you'll ever hear. It's a divine saying where God himself states, "Fasting is for me, and I myself am its reward." Think about that. For most good deeds, the reward is something separate, like a place in paradise. But fasting is different. Why? Because it's a secret. No one really knows for sure if you're keeping your fast except you and God. And because of that secret, intimate connection, the reward isn't something else. The reward is God himself.
So we'll end on this thought. We've looked at the science, the psychology, the history. We've seen how fasting can literally clean ourselves, sharpen our minds, and even connect us to a divine attribute. So the real question to ponder is this. If fasting can do all of that for our body and our mind, just imagine, what are the true, limitless possibilities it can unlock for your soul?